Good morning everybody. I am Indrajit Bandyopadhyay. Today I have chosen a topic from economics. The name of the topic is Perfectly Competitive Market. It is in the syllabus of BCom first semester Unit 3 of Calcutta University. I would like to teach you for 10 minutes in the video, so it's a very short time to discuss the entire perfectly competitive market. So I am just giving you a glimpse of the introduction of this perfectly competitive market. In economics, market doesn't refer to any place. It is actually a system where three conditions are met. First condition, there must be commodities or services for transaction. Number two, there must be the units, there must be the elements for the commodities or the services to be transacted, means there must be two or more parties named buyers and sellers. And number three, between those buyers and sellers, among those buyers and sellers, there should be an agreement, a contract. Sometimes may be tangible, may not be tangible, but there must be a contract between the buyers and sellers based on which the commodities and services being transacted. So these are the three criteria which should be there in the market, and if these three criteria are there in any economic system, then that system can be treated as market in economics. From the gamut of the operations, market can be classified majorly into three: local market, national market, and international market. Now, according to the characteristics, market can be classified into many, namely monopoly, duopoly, oligopoly, monopsony, perfectly competitive market, and monopolistic competitive market. So the characters of all those markets differ significantly, and since the characters differ, so the entire analysis of those markets also differ. Let us start today with the perfectly competitive market. As the name suggests, you understand that perfectly competitive market is perfect in all spheres. That means, apart from the perfectly competitive market, in the other markets, there are some black spots, there are some you may say demerits, there are some limitations which are called imperfections. Now, to find out those imperfections perfectly, you need to get another market which is completely white, means a perfect market. Once the perfect market is present, then you can understand what's the degree of imperfections belong to there in the characteristics of the other markets. So that's why perfectly competitive market can be acted as a benchmark to compare the limitations, the black spots, the imperfections of the other markets, to judge those. perfectly competitive market, since it is perfect in all spheres, so rare in practice. Now the first question is that what do you mean by the perfectly competitive market? Now in one sentence it is difficult to define. So the perfect competition is defined basically through its assumptions, which also can be called the characteristics of the perfectly competitive market. So a perfectly competitive market has a set of characteristics. I am taking the characteristics one after another. You may note it down. The first one is there should be many buyers and sellers. There should be many buyers and sellers in that market. It has a very important consequence of this character. I will tell you later on about the consequence of the first character of innumerable buyers and sellers in the market. Second one, profit maximization is the sole aim. You know that in the business there may be different objectives of a company. There may be different goals of the organizations, like sales maximization, market share maximization, wealth maximization, welfare, social welfare I mean to say, maximization, and definitely the profit maximization. But here in the perfectly competitive market, the only objective is to maximize the profit. No other objectives are there for our consideration. Number 3, free entry and exit of the firms are allowed. You know that in any kind of business, entry may not be fully restricted, but sometimes it is hazardous. That means you have to fulfill, certain characteristics, certain parameters, certain, legal things to enter into the industry. Similarly, while doing the business, some responsibilities occur during the operational period. So while willing to exit from the business, first you have to meet all the obligations. You have to meet all your liabilities, all your responsibilities, and then you may exit. But here in the perfectly competitive market, there is no barriers to entry, and there is no barriers, no responsibilities that you consider while exiting from the industry. Number 3, there is no government regulation. So you know that we are having 3 types of economy: capitalistic, mixed economy, and socialistic. So if there is no government intervention into the business, probably it is the purest form of the capitalism, which is again rare in the developed world too. We mean to say capitalism exists in, say, Finland, Norway, Germany, USA, UK, etc. In the developed countries, they are following the capitalistic economies. In Russia, China, Cuba, they are following the socialistic type of economy. And the countries like India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, we are under the mixed economic structure. Means we are having the government enterprises, the public sector in the one hand, owned and controlled by the government, and on the other hand, the private enterprises like Tata, Birla, Ambani, Java, etc. So they are owned and controlled certain sections of the business. So that's why it's a mixed economy. Now here we assume that there is no government intervention in the business, so it's a form of pure capitalism.